As a child killer, David Westerfield should be executed. We'll take you behind the scenes. And we'll take a look at this picture of Chelsea Clinton. Uh-oh. Are she and the Bush girls now fair game for the media? Caution, you're about to enter a no-spin zone. Factor begins in 90 seconds.
Iraq changes its tune on weapons inspectors. Hello, everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia. A big announcement from UN Secretary General Kofi Annan earlier tonight.
I can confirm to you that I have received a letter from the Iraqi authorities conveying his decision to allow the return of the inspectors without conditions to continue their work.
The last weapons inspector was booted out of Baghdad nearly 4 years ago. The turnabout comes just days after President Bush addressed the United Nations, saying Iraq must comply with resolutions or face the consequences. And instead, the president's speech galvanized the international community. The White House is reacting skeptically tonight to the Iraqi offer. David Westerfield has been sentenced to die by lethal injection for the murder of his 7-year-old neighbor, Danielle Van Dam. The jury had been deadlocked in the penalty phase, but reached a verdict this afternoon. Danielle was kidnapped and killed in February. The judge has the option of reducing the sentence to life without parole. And a jury has found that convicted Yosemite killer Gary Stayner is sane. That clears the way for him to decide if he gets the death penalty or life in prison. Stayner was convicted of killing 3 tourists in 1999. More headlines for you in about 30 minutes. The O'Reilly Factor is next. Coming up, jurors from the Danielle Van Dam murder trial speak out right here on the Fox News Channel.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thank you for watching us tonight. It is death for David Westerfield. Details in a moment. But first, a talking points memo this evening. The tide is turning against Saddam Hussein and in favor of President Bush. Saudi Arabia now says it will allow American troops based in the kingdom to attack Iraq if the USA gets a UN mandate, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you one thing. These Saudis are good at covering their butts. They know that after Bush's speech at the UN, the Security Council will most likely insist Saddam let weapons inspectors back in. So now the Saudis are going along. Many other nations are doing the same thing, like Egypt. They all fear the wrath of the Bush administration. 2 countries, however, will never be able to cozy up to Mr. Bush again. Chancellor Gerhard Schroeder of Germany has used anti-American sentiment in his re-election campaign, so even if he does retain his office, he's out in the USA. And Canada's Prime Minister Jean Chrétien has just been brutal in his support of the war on terror. He's leaving office, but Canada has certainly taken a hit here in America. We'll have more on that in a little while. On the home front, Senator Tom Daschle continues his foolish statements. One footnote here, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of the senators. It has nothing to do with ideology. We respect Democrats like John Kerry, John Edwards, and Joseph Lieberman, but Daschle will not answer our questions and is so partisan that Talking Points believes he puts his party above what is good for the country. Anyway, Daschle contends that an attack on Iraq would wreak havoc with global stability. With all due respect, Senator, what global stability is that? Did you miss 9/11? Did you miss the recent report from London that Iraq has deadly biological weapons and is close to developing nuclear devices? Maybe I am missing the global security that you are embracing, Mr. Daschle. Please explain it to me. Remember, Daschle had no problem doing what was needed to be done to Saddam Hussein under President Clinton back in '98. Talking Points knows rank politics when it sees it, and Daschle is the champ. The other argument some Americans are embracing is that nothing has changed with Iraq, so why remove Saddam now? This is another imbecilic thesis. Nothing has changed? How about the USA in a war against terrorists? People that Saddam Hussein like and admire. People that would be happy to take a suitcase full of anthrax from him anywhere, anytime. So the appeasers have now lost momentum. And what is likely to happen is that Iraq will allow the UN inspectors in and more games will be played. Fine, we'll play the games. But clear-thinking Americans know evil when they see it, and Saddam is evil. They also know that evil will find a way to subject and destroy human beings. Saddam will ultimately have to be dealt with once and for all, but don't expect fast action. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight. Finally, the jury decides to give the killer of 7-year-old Danielle Van Dam the death penalty. Here's what 2 jurors had to say about the trial a short time ago.
We methodically under guidance, we went through the lay of the law, what our responsibility was with the law, what we needed to do as jurors. We looked over all the evidence. And we were very methodical about it. You know, we all had been through so much, taken a long time. We wanted to do it right. When the testimony was kind of about their lifestyle, I couldn't understand why it was being brought about, because, you know, that's about something that they do in their bedroom, what it had to do with a little girl disappearing, ending up dead. So, you know, it was their choice. They're adults. Whatever they wanted to do, that's fine. I thought it was kind of silly, I think, to bring that up.
I think the blood on the jacket was one of the most significant pieces of evidence in this case.
For me as well. I mean, blood on the jacket, where did it come from? How did it get there?
Interesting. And joining us now from San Diego is O'Reilly Factor producer Stacey Hochheiser, who has been covering the trial for us. Now, Stacey, there are a couple of interesting things. Earlier today, before lunch, jurors sent a note to the judge saying, hey, we can't come to a verdict on this thing, a decision on it. And then after lunch, they come back and boom, they get it.
That's exactly right, Bill. They basically sent a note saying they could not reach a unanimous decision. Then they apparently said that they needed more time to deliberate. So they were going back to deliberate. And then soon after that, they said, we've got a verdict.
All right, now, it all centers on juror number 1, apparently, who went hysterical when asked, because each juror is asked after the death penalty verdict comes in, if he or she did condone the verdict. She said yes, and then what happened?
Well, basically, after they read the sentence for the death penalty, they polled the jurors. And when they got to juror number 1, she said that, yes, that was her decision. But soon after that, she started to breathe very heavily. It was very noticeable in the courtroom. She was breathing heavy. She was fanning herself for quite a few minutes. And then she asked the judge if she could leave the room. She said she was going to be sick. The judge said, okay. She got up. She left the room. The judge kept talking to all of us and said, let's give her a few minutes. Then juror number 7 got up and stepped out to go see if she was all right. Soon after, she came back in. The defense actually wanted the jurors to be re-polled, given that juror 1 really seemed to be having quite a bit of a panic or anxiety attack after the verdict was read. But the judge said no, the verdict was going to stand.
All right. Now, the other jurors didn't finger juror 1 as being the big holdup for this thing, did they?
When we interviewed the jurors after, no, nobody said that at all. They said they didn't know what was going on with her, so she just seemed to be really losing it right after.
Yeah, it'll come out tomorrow, which juror held it up and this and that. Now, two more things. Number 1, Westerfield's defense attorney said something outrageous. He said his client's a good man, except for one 3-day weekend of terror. That indicates to me that, number 1, he knows his client is guilty and knew all along. Is this guy talking? This is defense attorney. What's his name again?
Feldman, actually, Stephen Feldman. He has not been talking to the media much at all. And in fact, when he held his press conference after we met with the jurors, he basically said he was not going to try his appeals case for the public. He had very few words to say, but basically at the end, the defense team had no further comment.
Yeah, I mean,
he left the courthouse.
So outrageous to say, oh, my guy's a good guy, except for one 3-day weekend of terror with his little 7-year-old dead and brutally raped. Oh, it just makes me. That's why, and I'm talking to the audience now, many Americans just have utter disdain for these defense attorneys. Last thing, Westerfield actually reacted for the first time in the trial, people tell me. When a 19-year-old came in and testified during the penalty phase that he, Westerfield, molested this girl at 6 years old. She was a niece of one of his ex-wives. He has 2 ex-wives. Is that true?
Well, I was sitting in back of him during that, Bill, and he seemed to be shaking a bit throughout most of it. The 2 jurors who spoke with us after actually said that testimony by that girl had some believability, but they didn't seem to make that very significant. What they did say, though, is that when David Westerfield's 2 kids testified, that was the first time they saw as the jury.
Right.
All right. Exactly.
Stacey, thanks very much. We'll have more tomorrow, and we appreciate it. Next on the Rundown, another al-Qaeda big shot in custody. We'll have the inside story in a moment.
Starting a small business takes a burning entrepreneurial spirit, a singular bold vision, the courage to fight an endless uphill battle. But that's not all you need. Oh no.
I need some furniture.
Not to mention the tools to manage your cash flow. That's why you need the Visa business card, because Jules Seltzer Furniture, like many other places, doesn't accept any card from American Express.
I love these chairs.
Visa Business, it's everywhere you want to be. Get started at Visa.com.
In an environment where the only constant is change, your business has to continually reinvent itself. Wouldn't it be nice if your infrastructure could do the same? It can, with ProLiant server technologies from HP, powered by Intel Xeon processors. Reliable, scalable, manageable, and built on industry standards. So your infrastructure can adapt to change just as quickly as you do.
This thing was awesome. The world's first 60-inch plasma HD TV from Zenith. An epic experience just 4 inches deep. From the high-definition authority, Zenith.
Introducing Suzuki's 00 and 7 event, featuring America's #1 value plan. It's America's #1 finance offer and America's #1 warranty. 0% APR financing for 5 full years with 0 down payment on all new Suzuki models. And now, all new Suzukis come with a 100,000-mile 7-year powertrain limited warranty, like the XL7 with available third-row seating and the 145-horsepower Aereo, now available with the confidence of all-wheel drive. The smart choice is America's #1 value plan, so move fast to your local Suzuki dealer today.
In the Impact segment tonight, another al-Qaeda big shot captured. Ramzi bin al-Shibh, I should say, was picked up in Pakistan. American authorities have him now. Joining us from Philadelphia is terrorism expert Evan Coleman, senior analyst for the Investigative Project. All right, who is this guy, bin al-Shibh?
Well, U.S. officials are right now calling him a big fish in the terror hunt. According to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who in the wake of the U.S. war in Afghanistan has taken over the al-Qaeda military committee, Ramzi bin al-Shibh was the coordinator of the Holy Tuesday operation, that being the 9/11 operation. And last week, Ramzi bin al-Shibh was televised in an interview where he told an Al Jazeera reporter that he waited and watched as planes slammed into the Trade Center praying, "God, oh please God, aim, 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 aim." This is a man who was actually supposed to be the 20th hijacker and who tried 5 times in 1 year to get a visa to come into the United States, all of which failed. In the end, who was it that replaced him? Zacarias Moussaoui, the only other gentleman that we currently hold for being directly responsible for the 9/11 attacks. For being
so obviously this guy, bin al-Shibh, he knows a lot about the inner workings of al-Qaeda, who did what, and now he's gone, whisked away by American authorities along with 5 other al-Qaeda guys they got in Pakistan. What happens now? Where do you think they took him, and where will he be interrogated? Any clue?
I'm guessing that they'll probably either take them to Egypt, Jordan, or possibly even Yemen. It's in these areas, these countries have security services that have developed something of an expertise in obtaining information from Islamic militants, even ones that are so dedicated that they are willing to give up their lives.
All right, so what you're saying then is the U.S. authorities are not going to torture him themselves, but they're going to bring him to people who are darn well going to torture him.
That's most likely. I mean, I certainly don't envy Ramzi bin al-Shibh right now. I'm sure that the amount of terror and injustice that he's brought to the United States will be brought back upon him many-fold in the coming weeks.
Yeah, he was a fool to give that interview to Al Jazeera, the Arab network, because now there's no doubt in anybody's mind that he's guilty, and they're going to work him over pretty good. Now, do you think that this guy is going to be able to pop anything else open that we don't already know about? I mean, we've got a guy higher than him, Abu Sayyaf, in custody already, and about half of the al-Qaeda guys on the list have now been arrested. But still, bin Laden, we don't know where he is.
You're right about Abu Zubaydah being higher on the list than Ramzi bin al-Shibh, but Ramzi bin al-Shibh has something that Abu Zubaydah doesn't, in the fact that we know for a fact that Ramzi bin al-Shibh has been in the company of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the head of the al-Qaeda military committee, within the past several months. That Al Jazeera interview that took place with the 2 of them took place this summer. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed at this point is one of the most senior levels of al-Qaeda. He basically replaced Mohammed Atif, who was taken out in a CIA Predator strike during the Afghan war, and Abu Zubaydah, who was captured by U.S. officials.
All right, so he probably knows who this guy Mohammed is probably...
more than that. Not only does he know who Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is, but he knows likely where he is, and may even know whether or not Osama bin Laden is dead or alive, and his location. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is the kind of person that would know this kind of information.
Right. Well, you got to figure those guys are split right now. Once this guy was arrested in Pakistan, I mean, wherever they were, they're gone. Now, what's your read on the Buffalo guys? The 6 guys, 5 arrested in Buffalo, 1 in Bahrain. We're going to deal with that in a moment. What's your read on these guys?
You know, the U.S. authorities were very frightened because they really did not know what these guys were up to. All they knew is that they had received training in the Al-Farouk military camp in Afghanistan under the lead of Osama bin Laden, had been there at about the same time that American Taliban John Walker Lind was there, and were present for a speech by Osama bin Laden in which he praised the Islamic Jihad against the United States and called for the death of Americans. Now, it's not clear whether these men were actually planning any terrorist act, but the mere fact that they got training in these camps suggests something. Anyone that went to Afghanistan after August 1998 knew well that the war was against the United States, that Osama bin Laden was training Islamic militants to fight the United States. If you go to Afghanistan to seek training after August 1998, and then you come to the United States, you're looking to get inside a terror cell. It's very clear, and these men fit the profile. They all either are unemployed, students, or otherwise embittered by a lack of economic
development. Yeah, one of them had a
development.
job. But that's an interesting point you make, that there's irrefutable evidence that they weren't being trained in terrorist camps, so therefore they can be charged under the new Patriot Act. You know, interesting, before 9/11, they couldn't be charged. Now they can be charged. Now, there are guys up in Buffalo, I'm going to talk to one of them in a moment, who are saying, oh, no. They were over in Pakistan learning about Islam. Might that be true?
I mean, and not if you talk to them. They've already admitted, at least one of them has already admitted getting training in the Al-Farouk camp. He admitted it. I mean, they confronted him with that information, and he openly admitted it. They can't deny this. The intelligence is pretty solid from what we've heard. And I would say this. I would say that these gentlemen probably will end up turning out to be Al-Qaeda. They probably will end up turning out to be part of the Al-Qaeda network. Whether they were actually preparing any military operations inside the United States is a better question.
All right.
I am more of the opinion that they were a sleeper cell, that they were waiting for a command.
Mr. Coleman, thanks very much for your expertise. We appreciate it.
My
and when we come back, as I mentioned, 6 American citizens arrested for helping al-Qaeda. We'll have reaction from their community. Also coming up on a factor, Chelsea Clinton, Noel Bush, and the Bush twins, should they be under scrutiny by the press? Right back.
About investment banking. You cover more distance when you work in tandem. Whether you get soaked depends on proper balance. Wisdom is everywhere. Uncommon wisdom is knowing how to apply it. Wachovia Securities.
If you've had a heart attack or a stroke, the last thing you need is another one sneaking up on you. After all, you've got better things to do. I know. In my case, I had a stroke. That's why I talked to my doctor about Plavix. He told me Plavix is a prescription pill that can help protect you from a heart attack or stroke if you've recently had one, or if you have poor circulation in the legs causing pain.
Plavix is proven to help keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots, which helps keep your blood flowing. This can help protect you from another heart attack or stroke. If you have a medical condition that is causing bleeding, such as a stomach ulcer, you should not use Plavix. Side effects include itching, rash, diarrhea, and bruising. Additional rare but serious side effects could occur. Ask your doctor.
Taking Plavix once a day helps protect me.
Find out if Plavix can help protect you from another heart attack or stroke.
time is running out to just say no at Hillsborough Chrysler and Jeep. For a limited time, when you buy any new Chrysler, Jeep, or quality pre-owned vehicle, you'll pay no interest, no down payment, and no payments for 90 days. Pick the vehicle of your choice from our large selection, then sign and drive. It's just that easy. Plus, during this special event, we'll give you more for your vehicle on trade than you ever thought possible. Don't make your next car payment. Get to Hillsborough Chrysler and Jeep this weekend before time runs out.
In the personal story segment tonight, 6 American citizens have been arrested and charged with aiding al-Qaeda terrorists. 5 of them taken into custody near Buffalo, New York, 1 in Bahrain. Joining us now from Buffalo is Emin Egru, a spokesman for the American Muslim Council. All right, you know these guys, the community. You just heard Mr. Coleman say, no question, they trained in terrorist camps. What say you, sir?
Well, what I say is this. The community here is very united. United in a way where we're united with America. If these kids do have any so-called terrorism involved in it, well, the law should handle them. But I like to express the way that our youth, the way some of the kids that I believe personally that were born here in the United States that had to be grown up and live the 2 different lives, the life of where they come from and the life of the American way. And that puts a kind of pressure on a family where they're mostly trying to reach the kids and make sure they keep their traditions. Now, I would say, what I believe, that these kids did go to Pakistan. And maybe some of them did go to the al-Qaeda camps. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they came back with the intentions of staying with the camp.
Doesn't matter. It's against the law to do that under the Patriot Act. You know that.
Yes, I do. I do. But the young mind is young.
And if they,
the young mind is easy to take away.
All right. Well,
in other words,
young minds can blow up, buildings. Okay, that's the same thing we have. But,
I'm not trying to.
Here's the deal. Here's the message I think you should get out to your community, and please.
Well, one of the strong messages I think.
Let me tell you the message that I think you should get out. And you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong. Is that these guys, if indeed they went over in '98 and trained in these al-Qaeda camps and heard all these anti-American things, then after 9/11 they should have come forward and said, look, we made a mistake. We're sorry. We're loyal Americans, and please forgive us. And we're not involved with any terrorism. Not just sit on it so that the FBI, they come up in an FBI profile in the sense that somebody informs on them, and we have to go get them.
Right.
I don't have any sympathy for these guys at all. Do you?
I agree with you. You must be reading my mind or something, because one of the main issues that we're trying to do is reach out to the rest of the Muslim communities to pull out some of these apples that are doing harm to the rest of the community. Right. I agree with you 100% there. These kids should come forward. And I believe maybe more, maybe 20% of the population or 3% nationwide had gone to Pakistan or some Islamic school back home. But that doesn't mean that they're all gone to do any, come back to do harm.
And these guys are going to have their day in court.
These guys have gone to camp. They should face the legality of our government. Right. They should face the time that we require for such a crime. But we just want to express to the rest of the community that we're American, and we're going to do our best to protect ourselves.
Well, that's good, Mr. Egru, but there are people out in Buffalo right now who are outraged that these guys have been arrested. I mean, we've heard their family members, they're good people, they're this, that, and the other thing.
I know the Yemenite community, and I know them well. I know they were hard workers, but again, you can't look at everybody else for what they did. Now, if there is any more here in our society, here, meaning in Buffalo area, we should try and root them out. We should give them to the government, because I know if the government had them and they felt there were no harm or done no wrong, I know the government will let them go.
All right, so but they're going to have a day in court, but I don't understand why everybody doesn't think the way that you do. Because we got plenty of reports from Buffalo, people going, this is terrible, you can't arrest our guys, they have kids and blah, blah, blah. Well, hey, if you were over there in a terrorist camp and you didn't say anything about it, you deserve to be arrested and interrogated.
It's tough to speak out like this. I'm sure you're aware. It's tough.
Why?
We got to live with this community.
Hey, if the community gives you a hard time, call the cops.
Correct. We should get together. We should create a task of our own and should pull out these bad apples, as you would say. It's enough. I got to raise my kids tomorrow, and it's enough being targeted as a Muslim. I'm proud to be a Muslim, and I am proud to be a Muslim, and I want my kids to be proud. But I don't want no terrorism to change my religion or to change the thoughts of my religion. They don't represent Islam to me, and I will stand up against them if I had to.
All right, Mr. Egru, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much. Plenty more ahead as the Factor moves along this evening. TV Guide raises some questions about the ethics of Dr. Phil. We'll find out what that's all about. And People magazine is running this picture of Chelsea Clinton. Should we have a problem with that? We hope you stay tuned for those reports as the Factor continues for you.
Maybe that they're,
Reg?
Yeah. Oh! What do you think? I got that insurance or something?
What?
It puts money in your wallet in case you're like, flat on your back.
What? Never heard of it.
Well, you can get it at work.
Get what?
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Wow. I have to call Mother. You should see this place, Mom. So luxurious. Doug must have paid $500 a night.
My wife thinks I spent a fortune on this honeymoon, but I got the room for $99 on Hotels.com. Great deal. 2 clicks, and I had a room.
Save on thousands of hotels worldwide. Hotels.com. The best prices at the best places, guaranteed.
Frequent persistent heartburn 2 or more days a week despite treatment and diet change may be acid reflux disease.
You never know when to expect it.
The burn can stop you in your tracks.
You worry about the risk of long-term problems.
I got help. Learn to handle the disease and the risks in ways that make sense for me.
Call this number now for information and a free kit from Prevacid, a handbook on managing acid reflux disease and its risks, a risk alert profiler, a guide to making the most of your next doctor visit, and a 7-day free trial certificate to use if your doctor decides Prevacid is right for you. Prevacid fights acid reflux disease 3 ways. It beats the burn, helps heal the damage, and best of all, staying on Prevacid if prescribed can stop the damage from coming back. Prevacid has a low occurrence of side effects such as diarrhea, abdominal pain, and nausea. So if you want the power to manage the risks, heal the damage, and stay healed, call now for your free kit.
Everything from politics to policy goes through the White House.
Words spoken here impact the world, impact your life.
This place is crawling with sources, and we know how to find them.
You have to look in their eyes, look at their gestures, trying to figure out what things really mean.
In politics, there are 2 sides to every story. You tell both sides.
We are
Team Washington.
We are fair and balanced political news.
In the Unresolved Problems segment tonight, as we reported last Friday, a poll by the Toronto Globe and Mail newspaper says that 80% of Canadians feel the USA is partially or totally responsible for the attacks on 9/11. Now, that is simply outrageous, and I said so last week. I also criticized Canadian Prime Minister Jean Chrétien for saying the Third World has legitimate grievances that make attacks on civilians understandable. Over the weekend, this headline showed up in the Globe and Mail. America's right-wing news media and commentators are having a field day, always eager to beat up on socialists to the north. Fox News slammed Mr. Chrétien. Joining us now from Ottawa is the author of that article, Globe and Mail correspondent Sean McCarthy, who is an American citizen. Now, I hate to break it to you, Mr. McCarthy, but it's not just conservatives who are fed up with Mr. Chrétien. It's almost all Americans think that the man is way out of line. Well, why do you put the conservative deal in there?
Well, because you're slamming Canada as being a communist socialist state, and I don't think most people see it that way. And you know, it had nothing to do with whether it was a socialist state or not as to what the Prime Minister had to say, I suppose.
All right. Now, number one, I never mentioned the word communist at all, so I guess you just made that up. Number two, you're saying that Canada is not a socialist country right now? You're saying that?
That's right. No, the Liberal government is not a socialist.
All right. And Mr. Chrétien does not have socialistic leanings? You deny that as well?
Well, I mean, I'm not here to defend Jean Chrétien, but no, he's not a socialist. He's a liberal.
Okay, fine. No,
I guess in some minds that's the same thing, but you know, in some minds that's the same thing, but in some minds, you know, a liberal Democrat is a socialist.
All right,
too.
But in your article here, you went out of your way to say conservative media is doing this. That's not, I mean, sure, some conservatives are really angry,
right,
but a lot of liberals are very angry at him as well, and at the Canadian people for saying that this is partially our fault, which I think is very, very offensive.
Well, what do you want me to say about that? I mean, people look at, nobody's blaming the Americans for the attacks on the World Trade Center, and the article that I wrote originally on the poll pointed that out. What the suggestion was in the poll, and as you know, polls are not an exact science in terms of asking people complex questions. But what it did suggest is that people a year later are starting to step back and say, what is going on here? Why are people angry? And I have heard Americans say this. Why are people so angry at the United States that they would fly a gasoline bomb into the World Trade Center? And you know what? That is a question that a lot of people, liberal, conservative, Canadian, American, are asking themselves. And when they come to those questions and they look at the U.S. being the only superpower left in the world with interests all over the world, they come to conclusions that that power and the extension of that power is angering people around the world.
Sure.
And I don't think that's blaming Americans for what happened here. And I think
it says
you're
it's
twisting
partially or totally responsible. That's what the poll says.
That's correct.
Because we're powerful, that we're responsible for people massacring our civilians in the street. Number one, it's erroneous thinking. And number one, it's driven by a Canadian media, with all due respect, that is left-wing, as your newspaper is, as CBC is, that continually shoves this stuff down.
Newspaper? The Globe and Mail is up here again, I guess, you know, in maybe your spectrum, it would be considered a left-wing newspaper.
It is.
In
America, it would be considered like the New York Times or the Boston Globe, even a little further.
Oh, and that's left-wing. I think it's liberal is usually what it's called.
Fine.
And even,
liberal and left-wing are the same thing down here.
Most liberals in Canada would consider the Globe more mainstream. And the media up here has been owned for years by Conrad Black. The main newspapers in the country have been owned by Conrad Black, who, if you are familiar with the newspaper baron, who also owns a lot in the U.S., is an extremely conservative and owns the major metropolitan dailies across the country.
Are you going to tell me that the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, the news presentation, is not skewed left, Mr. McCarthy? Are you going to tell me that?
That's one news media. I know it's been accused of being so, and certainly the conservative opposition up here considers it to be, as they probably consider us to be too left-wing.
I think the bottom line on this is that 80% of Canadians feel that the United States, and you too, you're an American citizen, is somewhat responsible for the deaths of those 3,000 people. I think that is patently offensive. It's horrible, and Chrétien has offended the United States so much so that his credibility down here is zilch. But we appreciate your point of view and for you coming on and standing up, Mr.
Thanks for the last comment
there.
That was promised. Yeah, bye.
Next, the most controversial story of the evening. Should the press be reporting on the private lives of Chelsea Clinton, Noel Bush, and the Bush twins? We'll have that report after these messages.
Terror suspect caught. Hello, everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia. But is our homeland really safe from terror? Catherine Herridge is in Buffalo with the latest.
This case raises the question, is al-Qaeda actively recruiting operatives right here in the United States? The 5 men, all Americans, all of Yemeni descent, are now joined by a 6th. Mukhtar al-Bakri is accused, along with the others, of providing material support to a terrorist organization. In federal court, al-Bakri entered a plea of not guilty. After a tip from the Muslim community, the feds began tracking this group before 9/11. All of the men allegedly attended a bin Laden camp in Afghanistan last summer.
The threat of terror is very real, and it's not in Afghanistan or Sudan or the Middle East. There are those among us who want to take away our freedom.
The men's lawyers say they're not sure they've committed any crime. Regardless of their behavior, that fact will ultimately play out in the courts. In Washington, Catherine Herridge, Fox News.
And the woman accused of starting Colorado's largest wildfire is being released from custody. A judge ruled that Terry Barton can leave the halfway house, but she must remain electronically monitored. The summer fire burned more than 130,000 acres. Well, we'll see you again with another update coming up at the top of the hour. I'm Donna Fiducia. The O'Reilly Factor continues next on the Fox News Channel.
For powerful digital imaging systems that are race car fast and handle so well they can pump out up to 105 pages a minute, think inside the box. Think Savin.
May your travels bring you serenity, satisfaction. Like when you book ahead, ask for the daylight savings rate and save 25% on your days in room. It's like getting the bathroom free. All you need is the inspiration to book now.
There comes a time to call it a day.
Faucet.
Growy?
Growy.
So now we know what fuels Kurt Warner.
Hey guys, he's got hot dogs in here!
JB, Terry, and Howie return with football's most animated pregame show, featuring Jillian's Forecast and Jimmy Kimmel's Upset Special. It's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader this week.
Cajun, you look great.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what? It's your birthday. It's all taken care of.
All right. Here you go. Enjoy.
30 shrimp for your 30th birthday.
I'm 29.
Mix and match 30 irresistible shrimp for $9.99 at Red Lobster. What more could you wish for?
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Factor Follow-Up segment tonight. Take a look at this picture of Chelsea Clinton and her boyfriend socializing at the U.S. Open tennis match in New York City. People magazine is running it this week, and obviously so are we. And just last week, the press reported that Jeb Bush's daughter, Noelle, continues to have drug problems as she was found with crack cocaine in a rehab facility. Question is, should the press be reporting these things at all? Joining us now from Washington is Allison Schaefer, professor of journalism at American University, and from Boston, Alan Schroeder, a journalism professor at Northeastern University. Professor Schaefer, we'll start with you. Should we be running the Chelsea picture and reporting on Noelle Bush's activities?
Well, I feel sorry for these girls. I think they have a right to a private life, and just because their dada got elected governor or president doesn't mean everything they do is interesting. And as for the Chelsea pictures, I mean, blast, spare me. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it in People. I don't want to see it in Playboy. You know, it's not.
What exactly didn't you want to see about this?
I just don't need to see her anatomy. It's none of my business. Maybe I'm a prude, but it's not even that interesting, quite frankly. I mean, what's the news here? I'm not getting it. I don't even get the news, particularly on Noelle Bush. It's a brief, sad story, and then it's gone.
All right,
to be replaced with something else.
Ms. Clinton is now more than 21 years old, and she knows that if she, what do they call it now, canoodling? I think that's the new phrase.
Yeah,
if she canoodles in public, that, you know, people are going to take her picture. So she's aware of this, and she did, you know, the picture looks kind of innocent to me, and she did that in public. So why should she have any gripe if it shows up in People magazine? She knows what's going to happen.
Well, I guess more to the point is, why is it news? Why do I want to read it? Why do you want to read it? Why do the editors of People decide this
because
in fact
it sells
is newsworthy?
Magazines. That's why.
I don't even know if it sells magazines.
Oh, it
Chelsea
does.
Clinton
So,
that interesting?
Professor, what are you living in the land of Oz here? Come on.
Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, a picture like that, of course, is going to sell magazines.
What's so great about that picture? You tell me. What's so sexy about that picture?
It shows Miss Clinton in a semi-affectionate, oh boy, I'm good tonight, semi-affectionate pose with, as you put, some of her anatomy on display. That's why.
And that's interesting?
To most Americans, yes, it is, because she's been sheltered. They don't know much about her, and she's a very famous young woman.
And this is interesting for People readers or interesting for...
This is interesting for most Americans who consume mass media.
See, I don't think it's interesting at all. And clearly, I have been living in a cave with
you couldn't edit People magazine, Professor, that's for sure. All right. How about Noelle Bush? Now, Noelle Bush broke the law. Should that not be reported?
I just also don't think that's particularly compelling. I feel sorry for her. I think she gets a life to lead all by herself. If she has a horrible time of it and she makes a mess of it, doing it in public isn't going to help her at all. And really doesn't help illustrate, tell people the perils of cocaine use or drug use, because it's just this passing, titillating little segment at the bottom of their newspaper in the morning, and it doesn't get much reflection. It's just part of
Isn't it a warning
fodder.
to other people that if you do consume illegal narcotics, you might be embarrassed in this way?
I don't think so. I mean, haven't we had a gazillion warnings like that? Has anybody actually stopped that you know of? I mean, it's certainly not. There's certainly the train keeps a rolling with famous people's children or famous people all by themselves getting busted by the police.
Shouldn't they know that if they do this kind of thing that they're going to be embarrassed? Isn't that a message that might prevent them from doing it?
I don't think it would prevent them from doing it. I mean, perhaps she has a problem, the poor thing. And,
you know,
getting embarrassed isn't going to scare her off, I don't suppose.
Professor Schroeder, how do you see it?
Well,
let's take Chelsea first.
Right, and I would draw a distinction between the two of them because I think, you know, possession of nipples is not an offense, possession of cocaine is. Although, having said that, if Chelsea Clinton were the one with crack cocaine, absolutely that's a news story, as I think legitimately it is in the case of Noelle Bush.
All right, but now running the picture of Chelsea Clinton in the affectionate embrace with her boyfriend, as I said, surely Miss Clinton knows that if she's going to do that in public, I mean, this isn't a paparazzi peeping through the window. All right, this is like she's out in a big stadium, and this is what she's doing, and that's how she's dressed, and that's what happened. And, you know, the press is going to go. Now, Professor Schaefer doesn't understand why they do. Do you?
Yes, I certainly do. I think that she is newsworthy. She's been newsworthy since the time she was born, and she'll be newsworthy till the day she dies, just like Alice Roosevelt Longworth, the daughter of Teddy Roosevelt. These people are famous in spite of themselves, and look, many advantages come with their fame, and some disadvantages as well, and this is one of the disadvantages.
That's true, and that's an interesting thing I want to ask Professor Schaefer about in a moment. Professor Schroeder, in the case of Noelle Bush, how hard do you hit the poor woman? And I agree. I mean, we all have to feel sorry for her. She's an addict, and she's embarrassing her family, and has got to be estranged from everyone right now. How hard do you hit it? Do you analyze it? Do you tell about it? Or what do you do here?
Look, it's not a big story, and yes, we do feel sorry for her, but also, you know, let's be honest, the Bush family has a problem with substance abuse that they've kind of swept under the carpet. And it seems to me that as long as her father is being rather sanctimonious about his position on drugs, he can't sort of have it both ways.
I don't see him being sanctimonious about it at all. He's doing what every other president did. I don't see him doing anything else.
Well, you know, he's a great moralizer, and yet when it comes time for that moral lesson to apply to his own family, he wants everybody to sort of pretend like it hasn't happened.
I think that's unfair, but I'll let you go with it. I want to get back to Ms. Schaefer for a moment. Now, Chelsea Clinton, because of her fame, has had a life that very, very few young women in America could possibly lead. So if she has those rewards, shouldn't she be more careful in public? And does she have she doesn't have a gripe if she gets caught in some kind of...
Well, I beg to differ. I don't think it's because of her fame she's gotten all of this free ride, as you would have it. It's because her parents are smart and have worked hard and have given her certain advantages. They have. I don't think you can deny that.
Oh, wait a minute. There are a lot of smart, rich parents. Come on, Professor. She gets it because she's Chelsea Clinton. She gets to sit on the runway in Milan doing the fashion shows and hang out with Madonna because she's Chelsea Clinton.
Right, but
not because her parents are smart.
But that doesn't mean her nipples need to get busted on the cover of People Magazine.
Well, it doesn't mean she needs to wear a bra that makes that happen. She's going out into, you know, in a hot day in front of thousands of people, and, you know, if you don't want to be photographed, don't dress like that. I don't even see anything wrong with that myself.
I think it might be the lowest part of my career. But defending poor old Chelsea Clinton and her anatomy on the air, but it just seems to me that the girl gets a break. She gets to live a private life sometimes in public.
All right, then she doesn't get all the other breaks that she gets for being famous. How's that for a fair trade?
She doesn't get that many breaks. She gets some, she doesn't get some.
Come on. I'm going to give you, Professor Schroeder, the last word on it.
Well, you know, as long as you're the child of a politician, you have to assume that people are watching, and you better behave yourself accordingly.
All right. Thanks, professors. I enjoyed that conversation. Thank you very much. Pleasure. The Factor will be back in a moment with Dr. Phil. Well, he's not going to be here. He hates me, but we'll talk about him. Does he have a shady past? We'll find out.
Was possibly the finest rock and roll show I have ever seen. I Smell World Tour!
Wow. You mean the whole world?
Yeah. You're not, Gene. You're not, Paul. You guys aren't Kiss?
No.
But we did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
16 million people will come to WebMD this month. Some will learn about a condition or a diagnosis. Others will chat with experts. Many will simply decide when to visit a doctor. We'll help them all to navigate WebMD's wealth of medically reviewed information to find exactly what they need. Americans may have thousands of different questions about their health, but now they have a single place to find the answers.
There are thousands of good people in our community with damaged credit. Well, we can help, because at New Start Financing here at Hillsborough Chrysler and Jeep, we guarantee to offer you financing no matter what your credit history. Whether you've suffered through collections, repossessions, even if you have an open bankruptcy, we guarantee to offer you financing. Rates are low and you could buy with nothing down. New Start Financing, available only at Hillsborough Chrysler and Jeep. Nice people, great prices.
Ireland gave us Riverdance. England produced Stomp. Now come the Americans with the Tony Award winner for theatrical event of the year, the entertainment phenomenon, Blast. Blast is explosive entertainment, a non-stop mix of spectacle and sound. What a cast! What a blast! This show is a pure joy. Blast is breathtaking, a surefire hit.
October 1st through 6th at Keller Auditorium. Tickets are on sale now. Part of the Broadway in Portland series, welcomed by K103 and Delta Airlines.
The fight for every inch begins here. From the opening kick to the final gun. From Happy Valley to the Egg Bowl. The best runs, the hardest hits, the most excitement. From fall to finish, college football on ESPN and ESPN2.
Sponsored by 105.9 The River, First Class Run.
Jumping out of planes and rolling out of boats. Being a SEAL is something I've always wanted to do ever since I was a kid.
Through the training you learn to be a lot more driven and focused.
Well, without the Navy, I wouldn't have had money for college.
The Navy has many educational opportunities. I could do anything electrical out in the civilian world.
What you've seen is just part of the story. Call this number now for your free 12-minute video and see what Navy life is really like. Check out the jobs, training, and money for college that are waiting for you. Navy, let the journey begin.
In the back of the book segment tonight, a few months ago, the Factory got a tip about some problems Dr. Phil McGraw had while practicing psychology in the state of Texas. We did not report the story because the woman making the allegations against McGraw would not go on camera. However, the National Enquirer did report that in 1989, McGraw was reprimanded by the state of Texas for a, quote, inappropriate relationship with a former patient, unquote. Joining us now from Los Angeles is Mary Murphy, senior writer for TV Guide, whose interview with Dr. Phil appears in this week's edition. I read your piece, Mary, and there was one thing that was left out of it that I don't know whether you know about or not, but we have been working on this story for a long time, and I decided not to go with it because the woman, and we said, well, look, we'll protect your identity, we'll put you in silhouette and all of that. Still wouldn't do it. So I said, well, you're not going to step up, I'm not going to do the story. But apparently, Dr. Phil's father was in practice with him as a psychologist in Texas. And he did have sexual allegations lodged against him, and he gave up his practice at the same time that Dr. Phil, the son, put his practice up for sale. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that part of it.
So he didn't volunteer that information in your interview?
No, he didn't, and in fact didn't even want to talk about this. But you know, one of the interesting things, Bill, that you know, your question about this and mine also as a journalist is that this woman did not want to come forward, and when she did come forward, she came forward at the very moment when Dr. Phil's show is about to hit.
Yeah, well, the Enquirer paid her. Enquirer gave her money. That's why she came forward. There's no question about it.
And I tried to, although the reporter from the Enquirer said he didn't pay her money, but...
yeah, they paid her.
Yeah, of course. But she certainly wouldn't come forward to me, which is why I went to the Texas State Board of Psychiatry.
Right. I want to be fair to this guy, Phil. I don't like him particularly. I mean, I don't think he's doing the world a great service by... browbeating people who need emotional help. But I want to be fair to this guy. The state of Texas did not reprimand him for any sexual shenanigans, even though his accuser says that at a very young age, he was all over her and she was a client of his. But the state of Texas said, It was just an inappropriate hire. He hired the young girl. But when you say he didn't want to talk about it at all, did he know you were going to ask him about it?
No, he didn't know I was going to ask him about it, and I did ask him about it, and he didn't want to talk about it. And at first he wanted to go off the record. Then I said to him, no, you have to go on the record about this, because when he said to me, I absolutely did not in any way put my hands on that woman. I said to him, if a woman is accusing you anonymously of something, you need to go on the record and speak in your own defense, which he absolutely did. But it was really, I think, Bill, that I read the entire report, and I'm sure you did too. I mean, it was clear, and I talked to the lawyer for this Texas State Board of Examiners, and it's really clear from the report that the inappropriate relationship was that he hired her after she was a patient. Nothing to do with sexuality.
But you're giving him a pass because it's a he said, she said. I think the allegations were made, but the Texas authorities couldn't back them up because it was just her word against his, and of course that's not going to happen. But you have something very interesting in your article. You asked him, or he volunteered, that he took a lie detector test.
Right.
And what did he say?
He said he took a lie detector test, you know, really to prove that you know, he was innocent, and that he'd asked the guy the guy who gave him the lie detector test to say, you know, did I have any inappropriate relationship with any other woman? And he said no, and that he passed it.
Okay, and then you asked him.
He is absolutely, I'm telling you, because when he finally did talk about it, he himself is so clear in defending himself.
Well, sure, he's got a lot of money right now. But when you asked him who the lie detector administrator was,
he said he didn't remember.
He didn't remember.
Right.
That seems to me as something you might want to remember, huh?
Yeah, it seems to me you might want to remember it. But also, you know, I mean, I'm telling you, this is, you know, these things, and you know this really well.
Any big shot is a big target. No question about it.
He is a big target. Exactly this. I mean, why? I mean, I really had to ask myself, you know, is it true? And why did it come out now?
Because of money.
Because
of money. They paid the babe, and the babe said it, and they didn't print her name, so she took the check, cashed it, and says tra-la-la. But I'll tell you this, Miss Murphy, if you're a famous person, because you've been interviewing them for years, you better protect yourself. And if you take a lie detector that clears you, you better keep the name of that person right in your drawer. We appreciate it. Very interesting article in TV Guide. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, we'll wrap things up. The most ridiculous item of the day. Some of you know.
The band that is rock and roll. 40 Licks from the Rolling Stones. The first comprehensive rock and roll collection ever assembled by the greatest band in the world. Get 40 licks, 40 of your favorite hits, over 2.5 hours of pure Stones, digitally remastered. Call now for 40 Licks, the definitive Rolling Stones collection on 2 CDs, and get this CD booklet full of rare photos, plus this commemorative poster, all for $29.98, and your shipping and handling is free.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name.
Capture rock and roll history with these classic hits, handpicked by the Rolling Stones, spanning their entire career, including their newest lick, Don't Stop. 40 Licks, the soundtrack of a lifetime from the greatest rock and roll band in the world. Don't miss a single lick. Call now. Order
Order 40 licks on 2 CDs and get the CD booklet and commemorative poster for $29.98. Or send a check or money order to the address shown. Remember, shipping and handling is free. Call now.
Tomorrow, booze-soaked days, sex-filled nights. This supermodel's new book blows the lid off the fashion world. Janice Dickinson, tomorrow on Fox News Live. It's the showdown in Motown. Join Hannity and Combs live from Detroit. This is where the rubber hits the road and the sparks fly. Hot topics, real issues, and heated debate. This is one show that'll blow your doors off.
I want to Hannitize the world.
We'll debate that. Hannity and Combs from Detroit. It's the showdown in Motown on the Fox News Channel, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Time now for the most ridiculous item of the day. Our old pal Janet Reno is suing over the voting chaos in Florida. She says is responsible for her losing the Democratic primary for governor. Now, we're not sticking up for the state of Florida's election situation, but isn't it interesting that in the presidential race down there, many Democrats accuse Republicans of corruption. But now, in an all-Democratic primary, you don't see any fingers being pointed at the Dems themselves. The no true spin is that the state of Florida has enormous problems on a number of fronts, and it has nothing to do with ideology. It has to do with poor organization and administration in many Florida counties. Ridiculous, you bet. But hey, Janet Reno, you lost. See ya. And finally tonight, the mail about Eunice Stone, the lady in Georgia that reported she overheard terrorist threats. Jamie Hanna, Cartersville, Georgia. Bill, I wanted to thank you for being hospitable to my mother, Eunice Stone. Doesn't surprise me that she did what she did because she comes from a patriotic background. A lot of people disagree with me, but I support what she did 100%. John Londano, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Ms. Stone practiced racial profiling. Baloney, Mr. Londano. Everybody admits there was talk about terrorism. The men say it was just a joke, but obviously Ms. Stone saw it differently. About the Canadian situation, Bill Adams, Amherst, Massachusetts. Prime Minister Chrétien is correct in saying it is U.S. policy that has caused the terrorist plots. It is not American citizens they hate overseas. It's meddling of the U.S. government. So they kill civilians, Mr. Adams? Your point is offensive. So is Chrétien's. Father Joe Catanese, Rochester, New York, is a frequent traveler to Canada. I can tell you firsthand that many Canadians never miss a chance to diss the United States. Luke Pettit, Albany, Georgia. I'm a Canadian living in the U.S., and I agree with the 84% of Canadians who feel America brought the attacks on itself by its reputation for being in places it doesn't belong. Matt Connolly, Canton, Georgia. As a Canadian citizen working here in the USA, I am embarrassed and disgusted by the remarks of Chrétien. James Kelly, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. O'Reilly, your attack on Canada and its prime minister was reprehensible. Canada has been supportive of America throughout the 20th century. Doesn't give the country a pass now, Mr. Kelly. The Chrétien government has been awful in the war on terror. And about The Sopranos embracing depravity, we had a wild discussion today on the Radio Factor. Nick Vecchio, La Mesa, California. Bill, get off your high horse. When I want moral direction, I'll visit my priest. Michael Kershaw, Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Mr. O'Reilly, The Sopranos and rap music are very similar. Both are designed to target the same groups, and both take sexuality and violence to a whole new level by visualizing it. J.J. White, Rafine, Virginia. Way to go, O'Reilly. It's about time someone had the guts to criticize The Sopranos. I worked in organized crime as a cop in New York and can tell you that every one of the degenerate bums we arrested would steal a last dollar from a blind man rather than make an honest buck. And Yusuf Hussain, Karachi, Pakistan. Mr. O'Reilly, your inclusion of Pakistan as a possible terrorist country clearly indicates that you are a narrow-minded person that blabs about matters unknown to him. Okay, Mr. Hassan, but if you believe that some very powerful people in Pakistan are not sympathetic to al-Qaeda, then you are living in the land that time forgot. By the way, I never said Pakistan was a terrorist country, and I applaud the Musharraf government for its help in the latest al-Qaeda capture. How about that website, www.foxnews.com/O'Reilly? Getting a little chilly out there now that fall rolls around? Factor Gear is the answer to your fall wardrobe needs. And some of the money goes to charities, so you might want to check it out on the website. Also, please email us with some pithy comments anywhere in the world. O'Reilly@foxnews.com, O'Reilly@foxnews.com. Name and town if you wish to opine. That is it for us today. As always, we thank you for watching The Factor. Please remember the Radio Factor on Westwood One from coast to coast each weekday. The radio stations are listed on the website, by the way. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Hope to see you again next time. Remember, the spin stops here.